a topic that I thought was not only worth discussing, but was a pretty broad discussion, and something I think a lot of people out there listening right now would be capable of actually relating to. And is there any particular time, and this go for video games, for movies, for TV shows, for music, anything, you name it and it has a big enough fan base, has there ever been a time that a fan base has ruined something for you? Whether you were a pre-existing fan and you had already liked it, or you had not even experienced it, played it, tried it, viewed it, whatever the case may be, you have not actually had the opportunity to enjoy it, yet the fan base was able to kill off any of that ambition that you may have potentially have had. Now, there's a lot of different ways that something like this can go and happen, and I know that it's actually happened to me personally. It's happened to my friends. I've just actually had tons of different discussions about stuff like this. Most of the time just little menial type discussions, but still discussions nonetheless. And this can both be online or offline. This can be, you know, through overexposure and oversaturation. For example, you could find it that it's inescapable for you to get away from a particular TV show or a movie or a video game or something. You know, you see constant memes and merchandise and video uploads and just, you name it, you can't get away from it, and you don't want to be bothered with it, but you see it constantly and it's everywhere, and after a while, you kind of just associate that product with absolute undying hatred. You're like, I fucking hate this. You have no idea. I want to fucking absolutely just rusty gauntlet fist fuck the shit out of you if you don't get away from me with this. And it's understandable because it becomes irritating. And most of the time, you know, most people say, oh, just ignore it, it's not a big deal. And that's really true. But there are going to be those moments where you're just like, just shut the fuck up and stay away, stay back. You become like one of those crazy sounding people like, get back, get back, I've got a gun, no! You know, it can be one of those things, but then think about the person who is a pre-existing fan of something. I've seen people that have become ashamed of admitting that they were a fan of something because of how the fan base was viewed by everybody else. You know, and this can happen in games and TV shows and yada yada yada. But there are tons of times where you can be a fan of something, but the fan base is portrayed as being, you know, the dumbest and stupidest and worst depraved type of motherfuckers out there. And then all of a sudden, you start associating that product with those types of people just like everybody else does, even though you don't want to because you would actually enjoy it. Then you have to become this in-a-closet fan, or all of a sudden you just completely disconnect from whatever it is. You know, I've seen people do it with games. They're like, you know what, I can't even do this anymore. Fuck it, I'm done. And we're not even talking about a dip in quality from it. You know, it's not a matter of the publishers or the developers suddenly just fucking up and then shitting all over the franchise or whatever it may be. You know, and I mean, I've seen stuff like this happen with metal, with video games, with anime, with comic books. I've seen it everywhere. You know, I've seen fanboys absolutely ruin entire industries for some people that they just don't want to have anything to do with it. And I wonder how often stuff like this happens. And I thought something like this, like a story like this, in a discussion piece was worth having because this happens a lot, and it's something not a lot of people talk about. I mean, 90% of the time whenever we want to discuss something being fucked up, it's usually in part with the people that are the actual creators, or the ones that hold the keys to the kingdom and shit. You know, they are the motherfuckers that we have in our crosshairs, and we're like, if you fuck up, I swear I'm gonna put every bullet right through your fucking cranium, you empty-headed shitbag. You know, that's what we end up going and thinking about. But there's lots of times where there's a fan base out there, you just want to find them, grip them up, bend the asshole over in their fucking assless chaps, fucking spread apart their fucking ass cheeks, and fucking see that tar pit, and put your boot directly up it until all they can do is taste whatever you stepped in previously. Because you ruined something that that person loved, and that's happened tons of times. And then the whole inescapable thing, but you can't get away from it, and you know, that could have been something you may have potentially liked, but due to the oversaturation of it, just constantly being exposed to it, just all the time, 24 hours a day, you're just like, you know what, fuck this, thumbs down to all of this, just eat a dick. You know, here's a big old fucking submarine sandwich, there's a big old fucking 2-footer, we call it the Ron Jeremy, fucking choke on it. But regardless, I'm just curious out there, if this is a case for you, can you recall what it is? What particular fan base for? You know, and again, broad spectrum of different fan bases out there for anything and everything. And it doesn't even have to be just entertainment. I mean, shit, we could go and talk about cars, for fuck's sake. We could talk about fucking construction. We could talk about literally anything. Just imagine a die-hard fan base. You know, and then there's those ones that just fuck it up for everybody. There's always got to be those few, you know? But anyway, so, opinions, thoughts, feelings on this entire deal? You know, do you have some kind of stories that you want to go and tell about it? Do you have some examples that you want to toss out there? Links can be provided if you want to make a video discussing this, because, you know, sometimes putting an entire fucking paragraph there and hoping that somebody's gonna be like, see more. Wow, that... Alright, I'm going to have to get a bag of popcorn for like this and get all Michael Jackson style on it and shit. So, anyway, this is Alpha Omega Sin. As always, nerds, nerdettes, and gamers, game the fuck on.